leadership is a timeless concept. It was coined by in The Servant as Leader. The essay, Greenleaf said,
"The servant leader is servant first. It begins with wants to serve first.
Then conscious choice brings one to aspire to lead.
First, perhaps
which they belong. While traditional leadership power by the ones that the servant leader shares power, people develop and perform as highly as possible.
everybody here. I call this meeting of the Bastrop Independent School District to order. Let the records show that a quorum of board members is present and that this meeting has been duly called and that the notice of this meeting has been posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code, Chapter 551. This time, would you please stand and join us in the pledge and the prayer? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Texas flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. All right, if you please remain standing, we have Pastor Cody Whitfield here this evening with River Valley Christian Fellowship. Cody, thank you again for coming out.
Thank you. Let's pray. Father, I love and I'm so thankful that you allow me to live in Bastrop, and I'm so thankful that my children are educated in Bastrop I.S.D. God, you have blessed us richly through this organization, through this school district. And tonight we especially are grateful, God, to the men and women who stand in front of me. They are men and women who selflessly and tirelessly work for the betterment of our schools, ultimately, God, for the betterment of our children. I thank you, God, for our school board. God, I thank you so much for their diligence and all that they do for our community. God, I pray that you would richly bless their lives. I pray that you would give them clarity and wisdom in the days to come and the decisions that they must make. God, ultimately, for your glory, Jesus Christ, we love you and we praise you for giving us the gift of our school board. Thank you. In Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you. Please be seated. All right. At this time, Mr. Edwards will introduce our student speaker for character education. But before you do that, Mr. Edwards, welcome.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yes, we're glad and we're excited at the helm, and we look forward to a lot of great things happening moving forward here.
Well, I appreciate it, and I'm very proud to take this role and to be a part of this team and look forward to the great things we're going to do together. All right, with that said, it's my pleasure to introduce Virginia Lancaster. Come on up, Virginia. Virginia is a fourth grade student at Emile Elementary School, and she's going to speak to us about loyalty. And I understand that she's been working on this for quite some time. Virginia has a wide range of things that she's interested in. She participates in UIL oral reading. She's interested in soccer and volleyball. And at this time, I'd like to ask her parents, Valerie and Chase Lancaster, and her siblings to please stand up and let us recognize you before she... Thank you all for being here. Virginia, whenever you're ready.
A few weeks ago, our principal, Miss Burnett, asked me if I would like to write a speech about loyalty. I said yes, and I got to work. There are a few types of ways to have the trait of loyalty. Like if you're honest and if you're kind, you have the trait of loyalty. When I'm being loyal, I'm being honest, kind, and being true to myself. Being true to myself means I'm doing what feels right to me, and which is the way of being loyal to myself. Honesty means you're not telling a lie. It means you're telling the truth in a kind, nice voice, and you're telling the truth the first time. One time I had to be honest when I didn't want to. Because my friend wouldn't let me play with her. I was afraid if I told her it made me mad and sad, she would get mad at me. I told her, and she wasn't mad at all. I was so relieved. I stayed loyal to my friendship by being honest and talking to my friend. Another trait of loyalty is not being biased. Not being biased means not judging people by what you think. Being biased is a bad trait to have if you want to be a loyal person. Because if you're being biased with someone, they might take offense, especially if it has something to do with their culture or them being religious. I mean, if that's how they live, don't judge that negatively, even if you think inside your head. If someone else is being biased to you or someone around you, a good way to be loyal is to tell the nearest adult and they will fix the problem. It's good to have the trait of integrity when thinking of what makes you loyal. Integrity means you can rely. People can rely on you. Like, if you say you're going to do something, they know you're going to do it. Keeping your word is a good thing to do if you're trying to have the trait of loyalty. Showing up on time and being punctual are more ways to show you're a loyal person. Well, I think that I've covered the the trait of loyalty for now. In conclusion, I believe some of the most important traits of loyalty are honesty, not being biased, and integrity. Being loyal will take you far in life. Thank you for letting me speak in front of you today.
Well done, Virginia. That was loaded with information for all of us.
That was very nice. Maybe we can get your parents to get that up there to Washington, D.C., because it sounds like they could use that speech. All right.
Pull up a chair here in advisory.
Right.
So our next agenda item is to introduce our Student Advisory Council student members. And for y'all's information, the Student Advisory Council is a group that meets together. Hi, guys. Our Student Advisory Council is a group of students that's representative of each of our high schools, and we meet with them on a monthly basis, either with the administration and other key members. And what we do is we discuss issues that are important to our students. Some of them are concerns, some of them are things that are working really well. And then the board gives us the honor of having them here to sit in advisory to them on issues. And they've provided a lot of valuable information for us over the months and years. And tonight with us, we had more lined up, but remember we had a snow day, and Alyssa's the only one that weathered the storm and is here with us tonight. I'd like to introduce Alyssa Green. She's a senior at Bastrop High School. And Alyssa, if you would, just introduce yourself and let us know what you plan to do once you graduate.
Hello, my name is Alyssa Green. After I graduate, I want to attend UTSA and study biology.
Oh, wow. That's great.
Registered to vote today at our registration today at Bastrop High School. So again, thank you, Alyssa, for being here. All right. Next, what we'd like to do is do some recognitions of our academic all-state football players, and we'd like to start with Bastrop High School. At this time, I'd like to invite Coach Todd Patman to come on up and recognize the students.
Cedar Creek. That's Cedar Creek.
Yeah, I was going to go out of order, but okay. We're going to start with Cedar Creek instead.
Hello. I'd like to recognize Larry Cruz was selected the Texas High School Coaches Association second team academic all-state football. And he is waiting for a letter of acceptance to the University of Texas.
Wow. Are his parents here?
Yes, sir.
Recognize them as well? And where are they? Yeah, just come on up. Thank you. Now, if Coach Patman would join us up here at the front.
Okay, we were blessed to have 4 young men, and our first one is Jared Smith, honorable mention for football academic all-state team 2017-2018.
Congratulations.
Coach, can you give us a criteria, what he had to have to get that?
These young men have to maintain a 95 or higher. And then, of course, the higher your GPA is, then it goes from honorable mention, second team to first team. And Jared will be attending the Texas State University.
There you go.
And these are his parents, mom and dad. They did all the work. So.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Jared.
Good work.
Next is David Etherington. Well done, David. David Etherington was actually first team academic all-state, so that's a huge achievement.
Congratulations.
David will either attend Trinity in San Antonio, UMHB. He's waiting to hear back from TCU. And then there's some outside interest from UTEP, so we'll see how that plays out the next 2 weeks.
I would
gonna take that long.
Chris Kinsey could not be here, but Chris was second team academic All-State, so that's another very high achievement. We're proud of Chris. And then also Jesse Tausch, who was second team academic All-State as well. Jesse. Jesse is waiting to hear back from LSU, but that is his first and only choice. So,
Good choice.
Hopefully he will be there. So we're very proud of Jesse as well, and these 4 young men. So they set the bar high, and we'll make sure the rest of our young men are reaching for it. Thank you.
Cool.
Thank you, Coach Patman. We spend a lot of time, a significant amount of time every month honoring our students and our staff for their accomplishments. And what's special about January is we get to turn the tables a little bit and thank the people that support us, and that's our school board. And our theme this year is SOAR. You see the kites, not go fly a kite, Mr. Mushin. Not at all what we were suggesting. And so we have quite a few things that we'd like to present to you all, and we'd like to start by I want to thank each one of you individually, and I'm going to come to the front here and present that. But we know that you can't do this without a supportive network at home. And so we have flowers for your wives and gift cards for the husbands, because I didn't think Alan would appreciate a bouquet or something.
Seasonal flowers every day, right?
And so we have several things. So I'm going to come around to the front, then I'm going to ask you all to join me in the front as we do these presentations and we kick it off. And then we're going to go into having our students or our campuses honor you individually. And I'd like to start with James Allen and thank him for his success. And I want to kind of go through the gift package. We have a resident administrative baker. Maybe for individually cooked each one of you a cake.
Thank you.
We also have a book that it's light reading. Let's take a look at it. It's really light reading. We do expect them to how to be like Walt.
Yeah, that's a good book.
That's fantastic. So they have a little bit of food, book to read, so they can enjoy that. But James, thank you so much for everything you do. Here's your this pack. I'm going to give you your bouquet of flowers 4-pack. I'm going to give you evidence that we're giving them to Pat. So don't. So if you want to just share this with her. All right. Thank you so much. And tremendous thanks to Leon. You know, when you see Molly, Leon's around. We have a gift certificate for Leon. So again, thank you, Molly, very much. From Michelle as well. Yes. Moore, aka Bobby Moore. Again, thanks to Kathleen for her support as well. I'm going to give you that card. Mr. Musnick, Ashley. Appreciate it very much. For Trish. Come on down. Here's Alan's gift card. Again. And if that wasn't enough, now's the best part. We're going to have our campuses do it. We're going to start with Miss Allison Hall and Miss Crystal Gabriel to do their presentations.
She can read on the round.
So come on around. There you go. We can hear you.
All right. So we had Mr. Allen. Mr. Allen, we just want to thank you so much for everything you do for all the campuses here at Bastrop ISD. We're so fortunate to have, not only your support, but all the board. And so we just want to thank you. We have some homemade salsa and lots of chips.
Lots of chips.
Lots of chips.
And then we have some other goodies, including a gift certificate to go play a round of golf, and hoping that your golf ball soars into the hole for a hole in one.
All right, thank you all so much. Next we have Chris Julian, and let's see who's going to be, and Chris and Gateway as well?
Yes, sir.
But you're right, okay.
All right, so as we kick things off, we get the honor of saying thank you to you, Ms. McClure. So if you want to come on up. And we've got a video as well from our students for all of the board members, so we're going to start that now. Thanks again.
What normally happens on my presentation.
There we go. Bastrop ISD School Board, thank you for everything that you do.
We appreciate all that you do for our schools and always advocating for our teachers. So we just wanted to say thank you.
Thank you so much for all your support and dedication to all of us educators.
Thank you, School Board.
Hi, I'm Chris Kelly, Assistant Principal at Bastrop Middle School. I definitely want to thank our school board for all the hard work that they put in for us, supporting our community, our teachers, our students, and their families. Our school board makes it possible for us to do the job that we do, and we love them. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Bastrop School Board, for supporting the BMS band.
Thank you, School Board, for supporting the theater program.
Hi, I'm Bruce Mercer. I teach technology applications, and if you look in my room, you can see my students at work right now. I'd like to thank the Bastrop ISD School Board for providing the equipment that we have to learn and for the excellent students that I have to teach. So thank you all very much.
Thank you, School Board.
To the members of the school board for Bastrop ISD, we give you our most heartfelt thanks for all that you do and all that you continue to do, not only for us teachers, but for our kids. Thanks.
Thank you.
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 Those are great words.
Super excited to make it for our video tech. They put this gift together. It seems like you are everywhere, and so we are so thankful to have you supporting us. And so
Sleeping, sleeping man.
Maybe you need it, but just a few items for you there. So thank you so much for everything that you do. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. This is lovely. And that was.
Mr. Everly was not able to be here this evening, but Gateway did have a video that they wanted to share as well to honor Molly and the school board, and so they're going to share that.
While servant leadership is a timeless concept, the phrase servant leadership was coined by Robert K. Greenleaf in The Servant as leader, an essay that he first published in 1970. In the essay, Greenleaf said,
"The servant leader is servant first. It begins with the natural feeling that one wants to serve first.
Then conscious choice brings one to aspire to lead.
A person is sharply different from one who is leader first, perhaps because of the need to assuage an unusual power drive or to acquire material possessions."
The leadership first and the servant first are two extreme types. Between them, there are shadings and blends that are part of the infinite variety of human nature.
The difference manifests itself in the care taken by the servants first to make sure that other people's priority needs are being served.
Just as difficult to administer is, do those serve grow as persons?
Do they, while being served, become healthier, wiser, freer, more anonymous, more likely themselves to become servants? And what is the effect of their least privileged in society? Will they benefit, or at least not be further deprived?
It's primarily on the growth and well-being of people and the communities to which they belong.
Of the least privileged in society, will they benefit, or at least not be further deprived?
A servant leader focuses primarily on the growth and well-being of the people and communities to which they belong. While traditional leadership generally involves the accumulation and exercise of power by the ones at the top of the pyramid, servant leadership is different. The servant leader shares power, puts the needs of others first, and helps people develop and perform as highly as possible.
Video board member.
No, it was for all of us. That was very nice.
Next, we have from Red Rock, Miss Laura Kirschmer, and from Cedar Creek Middle School, Mr. Edgar Ricon. Oh, yeah.
We have real-life children, and they're
real life. We're not competitive around here at all.
No, I can tell that.
Yeah, we can do that. Good evening. We just want to thank you all so much. Dr. Mix, we have some treats for you, and we want to thank you. My friend Sergio, my friend Adriel have some treats for you. We have from CCMS and from Red Rock a basket full of all kinds of goodies for you. And then we also have a picture that our students have signed. One of the things that you did for our campus this year was help put us in contact with the great folks at Academy. And so if there's something a kid needs to soar, it is their first bike. And we were able to give 40 kids their first bike, and so we have a picture of them for you, and we thank you for everything that you do.
Hey, Laura, can you bring them around to the front?
Yes, yes.
We're
going to go around.
Dr. Mix says they're coming around on behalf of Cedar Creek Middle School. We want to thank you for everything that you do for us, for your support. Along with the rest of the board, we really appreciate your commitment to the district and to our school. In this basket right here, we have several Cedar Creek items and Red Rock items, T-shirts, caps, a towel, coffee cup, a pens, pencils, everything that you need to get your job done, okay? Thank you very much. Wear it with pride. You're welcome.
All right, next we'd like to ask Daniel Brown and Wendy Burnett from Bastrop Intermediate School and Emil to come up and...
We're bringing them in.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Well, can I go first?
The big guys.
Okay, my student helpers were a little antsy, so they had to take off for a little bit. So I'm going to here to present, but we would just like to say, Mr. Moore, thank you so much for everything you do for Emil and for Bastrop ISD. We have a few goodies here, and then to honor your photos, we have a little photo box, but our kids have made, and they've written you special notes on the back for thank you. So we appreciate everything. Thank you.
Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and introduce our special guests. I have Kylie McNabb and Easton Allen here, and Kylie has something for Mr. Moore, and Easton, I'm going to go ahead and let you walk around and go ahead and drop that off with Mr. Moore. All right,
Don't drop it.
Don't drop it. Carefully, gingerly set it down.
that.
How do I take it down?
Sign.
Thank you, Mr. Moore, for being our board member. Please accept this lucky bamboo plant and watch us grow at BIS. We feel lucky to have you on our team.
That's cool. Yeah, we'll be following up to see.
Yeah, see how.
Keep it alive. Usually it's only a matter of time, but we'll see.
At this time, would Dolores Godinez and Bridget Cornelius please come to the podium and honor your board member?
All right, I'm a little bit taller than that. Thank you, board members, so much for all of your dedication and support. We had the pleasure of recognizing, President Mooching. So, want to go first?
No, go ahead.
So, I really personally appreciate your passion for fashion so much, and share that same passion as well. But with that in mind, just want you to know that we at Cedar Creek High School and in the district appreciate you so much for always making us look good. With that, we got you a little something, something. You'll see here that this is in case of emergency, although I don't think that you will need it because you are always ready. See, that's what I'm talking about. You see the socks? Do we know him or not? Do we know him or not? So with that, we have some socks, a very nice tie, a handkerchief, and just want to say thank you for always being there and for always making us look good. We really appreciate it.
On behalf of CCE Elementary, we're very proud of having everybody present, but we thank you very much for your leadership, your support, and everything that you do for our students. You are great leaders, and we really appreciate you. So we have little greeting cards that our students design. It has some information on the back about the artwork that they did, and we also have some little snacks for you to relax tonight when you get home, and a little card for you as well. All right? Thank you so much for everything. Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, from Bastrop High School, Mr. Brad Brown. Oh, well, thank you so much.
He would get one.
And from Mina, Reba King.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good evening, school board. Just want to say thank you so much for being so dedicated to our district and all of your support through the years. It's greatly appreciated. You are a wonderful board. We had Mr. Peterson. I know he couldn't be with us here tonight, but he is getting some handmade coasters from our art club and a personalized mug and a few other goodies that he can enjoy. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I echo that. Thank you very much for all your support. Mr. Peterson, we know he soars around the country with his kids and everything, and he helps our kids be successful too, so we appreciate him. So we got him a little bag, little monogram bag, so he can put some of his things in his travels around the world there. So thank you.
Thank you. And now Mr. Conradery and Miss Melinda Gardner, come on down.
We have the privilege tonight of honoring Miss Kelly Seacats, and we've got some of our fourth graders from Lost Pines here today that are going to present some items. That we have Braden Gardner, Bailey Alexander, and Alayla Martinez, and not with us, but who also helped to decide what to give you, and they designed and made them themselves. Included in that was also Jesus Avila and Cohen Foster. So he's going to share with you the message from Lost Pines.
On behalf of Lost Pines Elementary, we thank you for all of your dedication to the students and families of Bastrop I.S.D. Thank you for helping us soar high and succeed.
All right.
I made this kite that you can find a place to hang on a wall. And then Alayla also has a message for you.
At our school at Lost Pines Elementary, our theme is the champions, and we want to give you this shirt that is from our school, from the champions.
All right.
It's a little video that they put together for you to see.
Thank you, Kelly, for helping us soar to success. Kelly. Oh, and you do it for free. Advocate for our own needs. Recipient for our trust.
Thank you from the bottom of our heart.
And then last but not least, I want to thank the entire board, and Kelly, obviously we have you as well. But I don't know how many people in here know that not every school district in the state of Texas has an alternative education campus like Genesis or an early college high school. And neither of these endeavors could take place without the support, the complete support of the Bastrop Independent School District. We have students from neighboring communities that try to sneak into Genesis High School and the Colorado River Collegiate Academy on a monthly basis. And so it just attests to the fact that these are extraordinarily valuable programs. And again, thank you very much for your support. I do want to share with, we've got a couple of t-shirts here, but I wanted to share one. This is a limited edition. All right. Circa will be, Circa will be graduating their first class this year. And this shirt is signed by all of the seniors on the back for the class of 2018. So thank you very much. And there is a Genesis shirt too. Thanks.
All right, thank you all very much. On behalf of the board, it's very humbling, and I know every morning I wake up, I want to say thank you to each and every one of you, even if you're a parent, you definitely got to get these kiddos to school, and everybody at the school making the things happen. And so it's very humbling to have folks tell you thank you when y'all are doing a lot of the heavy lifting and most of the work. And I do want to also extend a thank you to Nancy Barrientos for taking care of us. Without her, we wouldn't be where we are, so thank you very much. And we exchange gifts on her birthday. So we make sure that the whole board takes care of Miss Nancy. And so she does a great job of sending us calendar invites and putting everything together and telling us what we can't do and what we can do by the law. So, all right, thank you. At this time, Ms. Barrientos, do we have anybody for open forum? All right, great. We'll move into superintendent's report and board discussion. The curriculum report, there will be no report this month. Financial report was for information only. And I say these things as we run through them. We did have agenda review on 2 Thursdays ago, right? Right, 2 Thursdays ago. And at that time, we get the agenda about 3 to 4 days before the agenda review. And so we ask questions and get the answers that we need, and we come in for agenda review and really dig down into the agenda. So as you're seeing us moving a little quickly tonight, we have looked at these things. Personnel report, looks like we have a District of Innovation update. Panay?
Good evening, Mr. Muchink, Board of Trustees, Mr. Edwards. Thank you also for everything that you do for our district. Your time, your support is really, really heartfelt. Thank you. So I do have a presentation, but May of 2017, you guys were approving a District of Innovation update plan that was presented to you from a committee that included several stakeholders amongst our district to allow our district some flexibility with how we did business in BISD. So this evening, I just would like to go through an update of the 8 components that were put in our plan. So we'll get started, maybe not. Okay, there we go. There we go. Okay, so the first component was certification requirements. We have some difficult positions to fill, such as CTE, dual credit, secondary math and science. With this component, we are able to look at individuals that may have expertise or industry experience and use that instead of a Texas State required certification. We have been able to fill 7 CTE positions, 2 math and 1 science. What we do require of these individuals that accept these positions is that they do have to get their Texas certification within a 3-year period. So it gets them on board, we give them support, they get their certification, but it does allow us some flexibility there. The second component is certification as well, but this one pertains to out-of-state certification. This allows us to take someone from another state that may have a math certification or an English certification, not certified in Texas, but we can bring them on board, have them start working right away, but we also require them to get that certification in a 3-year period. To date, we don't have any of those that we have utilized this component for, but we are about to kick off our hiring season for 2018, 2019, so probably going to be able to use this component going forward. So number 3, probationary contracts. When we have people new to BISD, they may have been certified teaching in another district 5 of 8 years. We give them a probationary contract for 1 year. The state requires you to give them, if you're going to accept a second contract with them, and it goes to a term contract. We felt that that's a little limiting in case we think they need some support or some growth. We're allowing ourselves to give them a second probationary contract instead of going straight into a term contract. So it gives us some flexibility with year 2 on those individuals. Okay, component 4 was our performance appraisal system, which in the state of Texas, the new system is called T-TEST. The first year we followed it to the letter. The second year we wanted to give our teachers and our administrators some options with other than annual, which means they don't have to go through the full appraisal system every single year. We did put together some criteria that's listed on the PowerPoint. I won't read that to you, for people to be eligible to do the other than annual, so every other year. However, if you'll notice, they can meet all the criteria. The last bullet point states the principal still has the authority to say, I still want to evaluate you, even though that you have met all the other components. So this really is giving the teachers and the principals some flexibility not to have the full appraisal system every single year. Okay, the 5th component is transfers. We allow students to transfer within the district. The way that's been in the past is once you've transferred, you're on that campus for the rest of the year. This gives you the flexibility. If there's discipline issues, if there's attendance issues, then that administrator can decide to send that student back to their home campus. Component number 6 is first day of instruction. That basically is our calendar. It allows us to start school a little earlier than the 4th Monday of August. We did utilize this in 2017, 2018. We had that in our calendar. Later in the meeting, you will be presented a calendar for 18-19 that we will also be using component number 6 on. Number 7 is minimum attendance for credit. For students to receive credit, they have to attend school 90% of the instructional days. This gives us some flexibility with students that are absent, that have specific activities, extenuating circumstances, for us to look at those individuals on a case-by-case basis and still allow us to provide credit if they are just under that 90% rule. The last component is designation of campus behavior. This is the state of Texas required you to name one campus administrator to be the behavior coordinator. This is not part of the student code of conduct, the implementation of that or the execution of that program. This merely is the administrative team being able to spread out some of those responsibilities. So that is all developed at the campus level on how they distribute that administrative load with their behavior. So, at this time, are there any questions about the DOI update?
One quick question on the prior slide, number 7.
Yes, sir.
The attendance. I know in the past we had, for instance, one or a couple of children that were really sick and, you know, were getting their work at the hospital and things like that.
Yes, sir.
And we had to, if I remember correctly, we had to apply with the state to accept the attendance, that sort of thing. This would mitigate not having to do that any longer.
Yes, sir. We would be able to review that on case-by-case basis.
Perfect. Thank you.
So. We are working on scheduling a DOI committee meeting for the first part of February so that we can reconvene with that committee so that we can review all of this information with them as well. So, any questions?
I have a non-related question.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Leifert. Apparently you baked these homemade.
Yes, sir.
And you did this in one evening, all of these?
Yes, sir.
How many ovens do you have?
Thank you very
I think
much.
what's important to note on this is, remember we had our board meeting scheduled?
Yes.
last week?
Oh.
So you all had a double round.
Yeah. So I gave those to other people. Truly.
Oh, yeah. No wonder they're all smiling over here. Yeah. So, well, good.
Thank y'all.
Thank you. That is,
You guys are always giving.
Wow.
Awesome. All right. Police Department operations report. There will be no report this month. We'll jump into communications and community service report. Number 1 there, It's Time Texas Challenge. Presenter Dr. Christy Lee.
Let's talk health and fitness.
Y'all got a
It's
point.
called It's Time Texas Challenge for a reason. So now it's time to see who can do the most push-ups. We're going to get right down here in front.
It's for everybody.
This won't take long.
Dr. Mix is saying I can do that.
This won't take long.
No, what I want to tell you about, and I know that you've heard a little bit about this, but is about the It's Time Texas Community Challenge that Mayor Connie Schrader has implemented for the city of Bastrop. And the city and its businesses do so much for us that we thought it would be a great thing if we partnered with them on this project, because they're trying to earn some grant money for Parks and Recreation so that we can continue to improve the health and fitness of all the members of our community. So the event is going on. It started January 8th. We had a big kickoff event on the 13th at the Convention Center, and that was a really fun day. It goes through March 4th. Our town is trying to earn points, and we are competing against other towns that are trying to earn points. And right now, we were in 2nd place, now we're in 3rd place. So we need to step up our game so that we can win, and the Bastrop can get its grant funds. So with that being said, school board, I have a pledge that I've already committed you to. So essentially,
Publicly too, I was there.
that's right. That's right.
She did.
She did.
Dr. Mix said yes, he committed all of you, as I was right on board with him.
Nice.
But essentially, you are declaring your support for this challenge. You are agreeing that you will encourage our superintendent to sign this pledge and take that pledge. We already have a school health advisory council, but there could be some things that we can do. We're going to get our principals on board, our teachers on board, our cabinet on board. Essentially, it's really easy to earn points. It's basically you're just committing to do something that improves your overall health. Eating an apple instead of a cookie, maybe. I don't know. But I would do that after you eat Panay's bun cake.
Ms. Barrientos, would you mind sending us all our instructions, please?
So I have the instructions. I'm just going to start with Mr. Allen. All you need to do is to sign this and date it today. And Mr. Edwards, here is your superintendent's pledge that you are declaring your support and that you're going to help us get our principals and teachers, our SHAC, and our PTA on board as well. So I'm going to pass these over to you. And then we will take photos after the board meeting is over with, because that's part of the challenge, is uploading the photo to the It's Time Challenge, the ittcommunitychallenge.com website. So I will be getting you more instructions about how you register for that.
And if I can add to it too, because I've already started, I did it since you committed me. And the screen she's on right there, you register, log in, but you can, it says January 8th, but you can backdate 2 weeks. So you could go on right now and not lose any, lose 1 day, basically.
And when you sign up, you're basically just entering in your name and your email, where you work, those kinds of things. It's really quick, takes all of 3 minutes. And simply by doing that, you're earning points for the city. If you happen to upload a photo, like we'll do after this, we're earning points for that. When we get our SHAC and our PTAs involved, we're going to earn points for that as well. So this is easy point getting, and we hope that Bastrop will win this grant for Parks and Rec. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, at this time we'll move to our consent agenda. Would any board member like to pull any of the additional consent agenda items for discussion? All right, if not, I will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
A second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, consent agenda carries as presented. This time we'll move into our action items. We will consider approval of the 2018-2019 Bastrop I.S.D. school calendar. Lila Oliveris.
Good evening, Mr. Muchink, Mr. Edwards, and members of our board. Just want to begin by saying thank you. Thank you for your leadership and your governance. I know tonight we had just our best ambassadors, our kids, come forward, and our principals, and they're boots on the ground, and they do the work day in and day out, but you make that work possible. Truly, just to have a comfortable work setting is incredibly just a great feeling in the district. So thank you for your support, and thank you for all you do. Okay, so tonight I am bringing to you information about our district calendar creation process. This was done through our District Performance Committee, or our DPC, with the goal of bringing to you a recommendation for an instructional calendar for the 2018-2019 school year. So we're going to go ahead and begin. So I would like to begin by just acknowledging with gratitude the members of our committee. Our DPC committee is truly a special task force, and we'll go through like who it's comprised of, but they were very conscientious, and they created this process in an organic way. They were very collaborative, and they made the process very enjoyable to facilitate. So they were wonderful stewards of our time and our resources, and they truly put students first. So our committee is comprised of 43 members, teachers, administrators, principals, central office personnel, and community and parents. The membership has to consist of 75% of teachers, so we want to hear their voice in the calendar creation process, so we honor that. Our DPC committee has to anchor on legislative mandates and our district best practice. So of those, we have some things we need to attend to. House Bill 2610 requires 75,600 minutes of instruction. So we have to adhere to that as a parameter. We also have to have 187 contracted teacher days. In Bastrop I.S.D, we designated 10 of those as professional development and 177 instructional days. We also have to designate 2 bad weather days by statute. So we start working with our parameters, and the committee kind of frames around those, and then we say, okay, how do we want this to look like? So to get to some drafts and some calendar proposals for you all, we met 3 times, twice in the fall and once in January, right when we came back from winter break. And those are the dates there for you. We developed 2 calendar options for our BISD staff and community input. And this was, I think, a very special thing that we were able to do, which is, you know, through the power of media, just send it out for our community members and our parents to give us their input too. So we put a side-by-side comparison of the 2 drafts that the committee created, and then they were able to review them, review like the salient points of them, and then vote and kind of cast their input for your consideration. So we had 1,543 responses. Calendar B was the clear preference from our community and our staff input. So we want to walk you through Calendar B just at a glance, and I think we're going to click on it so that we have an expanded view. So as that's coming up, just a couple of stats for you there. The first day of class honors that District of Innovation statute that we talked about earlier. So we're starting midweek, Wednesday, August the 15th. The committee was very intentional about that. We really want to make sure that kids get in, that we have a short week where they can get acclimated to school, where we can change schedules when things aren't just quite right. So very intentional in that process. So we go from August all the way through the end of May. So this is, you know, very structured and excellent instructional calendar from August all the way through the end of May. And they were passionate about finishing through May. They really wanted that time with kids at the end of the year, which is just very heartwarming. It's like, let's finish our objectives with students. We have a week for Thanksgiving break. We have our student winter dates outlined there for you as well. Our staff does come back 2 days ahead of the students. That was very intentional designed as well. We want to have some professional development opportunities for our staff. That is for us to go through, how did we do in the fall semester? What are some goals? How can we plan and schedule for kids in the spring? So just kind of coming back fresh, let's gear up as professionals and let's get ready for kids. We have 1 week for spring break, and very important to the committee was that it matched ACC, or Austin Community College. As you know, we have our early college high school, and we really haven't been in tandem with them on spring break. This was an opportunity for us to kind of jump on board and say, okay, let's make sure that our kids at comprehensive high schools that are taking dual credit, and also our kids that are in early college high school, have that same aligned time with Austin Community College. So we put that in there. Staff development days, we have those 10. We up front, front load some of those in August. We have October 8th, which is traditionally a parent-teacher conference day at our elementaries. January 7th and 8th, which I discussed earlier, and then May 31st, so after the last day of instruction. We put in there 2 early release days at the end of each semester. And then finally, our first and last teacher contract days, they start August 9th, and then they end that Friday, May 31st, after kids have left the day before, and that gives us our 187 contracted days. So that is Calendar B at a glance for you. Our recommendation to you is that you approve the 2018-2019 BISD calendar as presented, and I'm very open to entertaining any questions. Just a final shout out to our DPC committee and their process, because they truly were wonderful to facilitate through this. They were so committed to how can we create a calendar that is really focused on students and is going to help us be successful as professionals and as learners. Questions?
I just want to say I love that you're starting on a Wednesday. Love that. Just as a kindergarten teacher, getting those babies, you know, from Wednesday to Friday, and then letting them go home and then come back. I think that's wonderful.
That was one where elementary, intermediate, middle, and high school teachers all had kind of a different viewpoint, but all kind of agreed on the same thing. You know, elementary staff was like the meltdowns, you know, just in terms of like by Friday, those babies are tired. But, you know, and at the high school, it was we need to figure out scheduling, and we need to make sure that, you know, that we don't lose instructional. So it was a win-win across the board.
That's a great idea.
Thank you.
I know I mentioned a couple of Thursdays when we met about the, you know, the parents, and since then I continue to get, you know, a handful of parents saying they really appreciate being part of the process this year. So thank you for having the foresight.
Absolutely, we will continue to do that. We were very excited anytime that we get that added input from our community. It's a win-win.
All right, board, this item is open up for any further discussion before we take action. There is no further discussion. I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we accept the 2018, thank you, 19 Bastrop I.S.D. school calendar.
As presented.
As presented.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right. Thank you for all y'all's hard work.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
All right, at this time we will consider action to assign voting rights by proxy by the Bastrop Independent School District to Noe Reyes, ESQ, for the Pine Forest Property Owners Association 2018 annual meeting. Our presenter is Sandra Callahan.
Yes, thank you. I also wanted to thank the board for everything they do. And while I know this and many people know this, I would just like to say that it's a very low-paying job, as in no paying, for to be on the school board. And the hours that a board member puts in on top of their jobs and everything they have to do is it's a lot of work. So I appreciate it as well as everyone else. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam.
Just a little background. The district is trustee of about 194 properties in Pine Forest Unit 6, and they have an annual property owners meeting. And Noe Reyes, if you want to come up, and they have, Noe, you probably have something to say about the meeting actually, but the district is asking to give our proxy votes to Noe Reyes. He will represent the district at the meeting on February 4th.
Since everybody's thanking the board, I'd like to thank the board too. The annual meeting is on February 3rd.
February 3rd.
Or is it?
Yeah, no, it's the 3rd. You're right.
Yeah, and the items up for consideration, it's nothing big. Really just housekeeping items, a few minor things, but nothing like has been there in the past. So really just we plan on attending just to make sure that things go the way they should.
So this is this something we've done in the past?
Yes.
I recall. Okay.
For the last several years, I believe.
Okay. All right.
It's the annual meeting, and we don't expect any fireworks. So.
All right. Open for discussion for the board.
You're representing the county as well.
I am.
And the city.
Correct.
All on board.
At this time, I will entertain a motion to assign the voting rights by proxy by the Bastrop Independent School District to Noe Reyes for the Pine Forest Property Owners Association 2018 annual meeting.
So move as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Thank you, Sandra and Noe. Appreciate it. Ellen, thanks for coming out. All right, at this time, we will consider approval for the Bastrop County Elections Administrator contract. Presenter, Dr. Christy Lee.
We will once again partner with the Bastrop County Elections Office, and so this is the standard contract that we have used each and every time. So we just, I I recommend that the board approve the Bastrop County Elections Administrator contract as presented.
Open for discussion. If there's no discussion, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second to approve the Bastrop County Elections Administrator contract. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Ms. Lee, I'm going to let you have the floor again to consider approval of agreement to conduct joint election between the City of Bastrop and Bastrop I.S.D.
That's right. We will do this together in May. That's the recommendation to you, that the ones that they are putting forth on the ballot, we will join with them in that effort. If we don't end up having a school board election, then that contract would be null and void. Theirs would go forward. So it is my recommendation that the board approve the agreement to conduct a joint election with the City of Bastrop as presented.
Any discussion from the board?
Will we be able to designate places for early voting, like campuses and the like, if we feel that would be a good thing to do for that election?
Ms. Lee?
That has already been done. And that's in, you'll see that in, as we get to actually calling the election, which is next in line. That's in the documentation. We have the early voting locations decided, and of course the election day locations are preset.
So your answer is no.
Okay. I didn't read far enough into this.
This is why we have discussion. All right, any further discussion? All right, if there is none, I'll entertain a motion to consider the agreement of conduct joint election between the City of Bastrop and Bastrop I.S.D.
So moved.
Have a motion? Second. And a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries as presented. Dr. Lee, we have one more for you here. Consider calling Board of Trustee election for May 5th, 2018 for place 1 and place 2.
That is correct. And as I said before, if we do, we have had 2 candidates file, our present school board members, so they are refiling for election. We have not at this time had anyone who's running against them. So going back to the very first thing, if we don't end up having a school board election, then the contract with the Bastrop County Elections Office in terms of the fees and all of that would be null and void, with the exception of a small administrative fee that we would have to pay if we end up not having a school board election. With that being said, I recommend the board approve the order of election calling for the trustee election May 5th, 2018 as presented.
Any discussion? All right, I'll entertain a motion at this time. Consider calling the Board of Trustee election for May 5th, 2018 for place 1 and 2.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, great job.
And Billy, those locations and everything are in there starting on page 1019. All right, thank you.
So that number 1 and 2 was voted under E, what it looks like on the agenda here, the board calendar and the order of election, all that's together. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, we have a few informational items there. The district-wide calendar is for information only. Also, we've reviewed the enrollment. That was for information only. And then I'd like to give a update on the superintendent search. The Bastrop Board of Trustees is beginning its search for our next superintendent. We have hired the district's law firm to guide us through this process. The search firm will be conducting an online survey, facility meetings, and a community forum to gather input from district staff and community members. The board will be meeting at the next scheduled board meeting in February with our attorney in regards to a flexible timeline for this process. Thank you. This time, any other discussion from the board?
Well, Alyssa, thank you for being here. Thank you for having me.
Any questions? I'm sorry.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
Why would you not want to be on the school board? Look at all this. Love tonight. That's something, public service is certainly something to consider, because a lot of public supports you, and it's good to return the favor.
So what do you plan to do with your biology degree?
I want to go to medical school afterwards. I'm not sure exactly what I want to do as far as my career, but I know for sure I want to be in the medical field.
I was talking to my son about that. He's graduating this May at Community Southwestern Medical. I was asking him about biology majors being the right one for pre-med, and he said sometimes it's really not that necessary for it to be a straight biology major. That sometimes, in fact, some medical schools like people coming from other backgrounds. Like obviously, you do have to have the science to do well in MCAT, so you do need to have that background. But you might also, as you go into college and maybe talk to more people who are counseling and advising on areas of study, you might look at some other areas that are of interest to you that you can attach to your interest in medicine.
Yeah.
To get the preparation for that as well.
I wanted to major in forensics, but UTSA doesn't offer that as a major, so maybe I'll transfer because I like the UTSA environment and the setting and stuff. So I want to start off there at least.
Yeah, it's a great school. My younger
and
son
maybe
started there.
transfer somewhere with the forensic major.
It's a really good school, and they do offer a lot of programs there. But you know, your first year or so, you still have the option of kind of picking your major that you want to go to because you're going to be doing a lot of the general classes required for everyone, but look around and talk to some people down there. Of course, they do have a medical school there as well, and it might be good to talk to some of the students there. People who are going through that are more than happy to share the pain.
Thank you.
It's a huge commitment, and really proud of you for doing that.
Thank you.
So, listen, I'd just like a little update on y'all's advisory council. Mr. Edwards, have y'all kind of got him broken in, and we have an open and good thoughts and ideas meeting with y'all?
Yeah, I think we've gotten good so far.
You did okay.
It's trainable.
Yeah. And we'll be meeting again first week of February, if I remember correctly. So,
awesome.
Looking forward to it.
No, any questions about our agenda? I know we moved through things fast, and probably interested about the calendar and the involvement and different things like that. And
like Ms. Seacat said, I agree. I like how it's starting on Wednesday because I feel like school is the first week of school is probably the hardest. So making it going to school is a lot easier on students.
Well, awesome. Well, good. And your knee, what's the future there?
There is no future for me.
Oh, come on. They're always
looking through it with that.
Yeah. Well,
talking to Mr. Knee here.
Yeah, hang in there. I was privileged to have a knee surgery each year of high school, and even as we went through there. So I think I had number 10 about 2 weeks ago. So
let's hope I don't have to go to 10.
That's right. Yeah.
We're not wishing that on you.
Be a lot smarter on your extracurricular activities after high school, and I was a little adventurous, but it sounds like you got a good pathway.
Yeah.
So, fantastic. Any other discussion? All right. Thank everybody again. It's wonderful. All
Thank
the
you
great
for
gifts
everything.
and all that. We really do appreciate it. And if there's no objections to adjourning this meeting, then we'll consider this meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Except everyone has to eat cake.
Yes.
Is it before the health cake, before the...
Have some cake while you're taking your cake home.
Why don't you take it of us eating cake? That won't work? I could not remember my password the whole time. I'm like, I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know.